Hello. Recently I made a video and one of my students said, "Oh, I really like the video, but I prefer you without makeup." So there we go. No makeup, no earrings, nothing. Well, today I'm going to talk a little bit about an Irish mythological figure, which is god Aengus. And this video actually follows the video that I had, which is called poem The Song of Wandering Aengus. In that poem, in that video, I read and I analyzed the poem called the Song of Wandering Aengus, which played a little bit with this Irish god, and it's a very beautiful story, so go check that out if you haven't seen. If you have, remember that at the end of the poem that I analyzed, and I talked about the figurative languages that were in this poem, remember that in the end he didn't find her, but he still had hopes that he would find her. He was still wondering after many years. So let's talk about the story of Aengus, which is this god, this Irish god. According to the legend, he was a very handsome and young man with fine physical proportions and an attractive nature. And I'm going to put a picture of him here, so I would like you to analyze that and to think if he was really attractive. What do you think of him? This god was always associated with love, youth, summer, and poetic inspiration, which has a lot to do with the poem that we read, that we analyzed, which was very poetic, very beautiful, very delicate, very magical. And according to the legend also, and you can see in the picture that I have just shown you, he was always circled by four small birds, and it's said that it symbolizes his kisses. So even though he was very handsome and he would inspire the love of many women, he also felt inspired by love as well. And there is this very famous tale that is called Aengus Og, which is the dream of Aengus. It's when he had a dream. He was dreaming about this maiden. He had seen in his dreams. In his dreams, this beautiful young lady, she would come to visit him every night. And every time he was going to hold her and he was going to possess her, she vanished. And he had this dream. She was visiting him for a whole year. So he got sick because he wouldn't eat for this whole year. He wouldn't eat very well, dreaming of her. Then his parents sent people to search for this girl. And they finally found her near a lake. And they came back, told the family. The family told him, and then they went there to see the girl. And they saw and they found the girl, and he recognized her immediately. So they asked her parents for the hand of the maiden, and the father said, "I cannot give her hand." And when he was asked why, he said it was because she had a power that it was so great that he could not control. And then he mentioned that every year she turned herself into a bird. And still, Aengus said, "I don't care, I will still marry her." And then they got married, and the next morning they woke up, two birds together, and then they flew away together. And that's the story, that they did stay forever together in the shape of birds. Well, now I would like you to think about how different it is from the poem. In the poem, the Song of Wandering Aengus, he never found her. And here, according to mythology, he did find her, and they were happy forever. Just the fact that they were birds, but they were still happy. And I would like to link this to Irish mythology, because Irish mythology has its roots in the Celtic mythology, and it's part of it. And one of the Irish mythologies that is very, very famous is St. Patrick's Day. So it started in a true story, which is St. Patrick. He was priest. First, he was kidnapped. He was from Great Britain, and then he was kidnapped by pirates hundreds centuries ago. And then he was taken to Ireland when they didn't have Christianism, they were pagans, and he was a slave and he took care of sheep. And then he was always thinking of God because he was Christian, and he always had dreams about God leading him to salvation. And he started following these dreams, and he found a ship that said, okay, we can take you back. So they saved him. And when he was in Great Britain back there, he studied to be a priest, and he promised himself that he would go back to Ireland to spread Christianism, and that's what he did. He went back to Ireland, and he's considered the father of Christianism in Ireland. That's why there is a day just for him. And there he taught Christianism to everybody. And because in Ireland it rains a lot, so one of the myths about the rainbow is because in Ireland it rains more than 200 days a year. So that's a lot of rain. And then the whole island is like this, like my wall. It's green. The whole island is so green because it rains a lot, and there is a lot of rainbow because usually rainbow comes after the rain when there is sunshine. And that's why it's associated. And there are lots of myths involving St. Patrick's Day and Irish mythology. That's very nice, and I'm sure that you guys know some of it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. See you later.